Welcome back, everyone, to the first Heels Are Off podcast of 2020. I suppose it's a bit late to be saying Happy New Year to everyone, but, Happy New Year if I haven't said it already. Today, we are doing a bit of a spin on the New Year's resolutions. We've all made and broken many a New Year's resolution in our time, I'm sure. I know I have. So we're going to do something a little bit differently today, and instead of saying, just a random New Year's resolution, going to lose weight in 2020, what I want us to do is give ourselves a little message for yourself at the end of 2020. So how do you want to feel? Do you want to have achieved something special? Is there life goals that need to be ticked off, something on the bucket list maybe? And then we'll have a quick chat about how we're actually going to make those big messages happen. So we'll go around the table, start with you, Sarra. What is your message to Sarra in December 2020?
So my message is I talk a lot about how I try my best to manage my energy and not my time.
I'm going to get you a t-shirt with that on, I think.
And what I mean by that is managing four energies such as your mind and that clarity of that space, and your emotional energy, because emotions drive behaviours, your physical energy, the body, your sleep, nutrition, etc. And my sort of message to myself in December is to check in and see if I have managed to check in with myself daily, weekly, monthly, to make sure all these energies are in balance all the time. So it's about have I been in flow for the majority of the year? So when you're in flow and you are flowing, so you can have conversations and it's really easy, the words just come out of your mouth perfectly, you're on fire. I want to check in with myself and say, how did I feel this year? Did I feel in flow, and did I manage my energy to support me getting into flow?
I would love to feel that.
And mindfulness comes into it, a whole host of things come into it, but it's about that checking in. And self-care is not selfish, it's self-love.
And what's your percentage KPI? Because we all know you love it. 95%. 95%. Anything else is unacceptable. 95%.
Yeah.
Do a quarterly review.
Absolutely. Yeah. The majority of the time. That's it. Quite simple.
That's nice. That's a nice one. What about you, Jen? What's the plan?
I want to feel a sense of achievement, but it's very, very loose. I think I am one that's very prone, going to Sarah's point about energy, to being kind of bogged down. So I want to, by the end of the year, have said I've made progress. So physically, I have a target that I want to get to, which I'm not going to share.
Fair enough.
But I want to have said I've known over the years that I have lots of struggles physically, weight-wise,
okay.
but I don't want to. I've established, as my New Year's resolution last year drastically failed. I've realised that it's better for me to just say, okay, I've made progress, and this is a long-term journey that I need to go on.
Love that.
So I want to have felt physically that I've made some progress, mentally that I have been more balanced, I suppose, so that I'm not always so bogged down with the day-to-day. So I want to have said, okay, I've made progress in that realm as well, not so much energy I suppose focus, but just that mentally I've been more on point, that I've been more balanced, even work-life balance. I suppose that's what I want to say by the end of the year that I've got into to a degree.
That's a nice one. And I suppose thinking about it as, like you say, part of a long-term goal rather than by 2020 I need to have done X, Y, Z. I suppose it's like a more positive way of thinking about it, more solution-based.
Yeah, because I've done, okay, by this month I'm going to be at my goal weight, or I've said, okay, this is happening, or I've got a wedding, or I've got, my son's going to school, and I've thought about it that way, and I thought, you know what, it's just going to lead me to be more stressed approaching the point. And actually my body physically, I am a big sugar craver when I get more and more stressed.
Aren't we all?
It's the biggest cause of it.
Yeah, so the stress and everything. So I just think of it more as a long-term journey, and as long as I've made progress, then I'm going to be satisfied with that. So I think it's just trying to look a bit more holistically over the year, rather than day to day, month to month.
I can help you with that, Jen, because the four energy concept is not necessarily energy as it sounds.
Okay.
It's more about, so the body, I believe, is the first thing you start with. So it's the physical, it's the framework.
Okay.
So if you're getting enough sleep, I know it's hard when you've got a wee one.
Just bin him, get some sleep.
Just go to a baby.
It's about sleep, nutrition,
Yeah.
exercise, and all these things that contribute to your mental and therefore your emotional, and therefore so all these things contribute. So I think we could do a deep dive in that. I think
I was
it's
going to
gonna
get KPIs though, which is kind of veering back onto your goal or
that'd be good.
I'll walk you through the model.
Yeah, it'd be good
because
to
it's
see.
really simple and it's not just about nutrition.
Yeah.
It takes into account a whole host of other things
Okay.
that make you feel
Complete.
Absolutely.
So when's your podcast coming out?
When's the cookbook coming out?
Ask Georgia.
There you go, no pressure.
Yeah.
I know. It's funny though, isn't it? It's one of those things that we're, I suppose especially women, we are so hard on ourselves about.
Yeah.
Didn't
I
hit
know.
it, didn't lose as much as I wanted
I
to
know.
fit into that dress. Like you use the word failure, and it's just like it just makes everything so
I know.
much worse, doesn't
Yeah,
it? Because
it's
you
just-
think
yeah.
you then stress, and I have IBS, so the stress makes it even worse
Yeah.
because I just swell, and I'm like, it's fitting even worse and worse and worse.
Yeah, and then you just spiral, don't
Yeah.
you? And then it's self-evolved, and then you think, I'll just have more sugar, I'll have more of the bad stuff,
Yeah.
and then you're back where you
Yeah,
started.
exactly. And I've lost weight successfully in the past, but it's always been just maintaining it, and it's because I've put a lot of pressure on myself to get there. And the times where I've managed to keep the weight off for the longest have been the times where I've not actually been thinking about the weight.
Yeah.
There's everything
Yeah.
else has been in
Correct.
balance
That's
that
it.
has made
The difference.
made the difference.
Uh-huh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
So it's not about you're not wanting to lose weight.
no,
You're just
I know.
changing your lifestyle.
Yeah,
Feel
exactly,
good.
exactly. That's
And
so I
if
think
you
by looking at it as a progress and a long-term
Yeah.
goal, that'll help me mindset-wise.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah,
No,
that's me.
On that basis of the weight, I also last year changed mine from I want to lose weight to I want to feel light, and it makes a very big difference.
Ooh, that's interesting.
I like that.
Because
Yeah.
feeling light
It's
encompasses
different.
many
Yeah,
more
that
things.
could go
exactly.
physically,
And
mentally.
coincidentally, I lost weight, but the reality was I didn't lose as much weight as I would have done if I'd done the target weight loss.
Yeah.
But actually, I still felt light and I felt
You felt
bouncy. I
better.
felt because I was
Yeah.
focusing on the show.
That's
You're
really
in flow.
interesting.
I was in flow.
Yeah.
There you go.
100%.
100% or 95% of the time, there's a target here.
You met you exceeded your KPI. Congratulations.
This lady gives me my KPIs. So
What about you, Pat? How is Pat going to
Well,
feel at the end
I
of the
just
year?
want to be the best me this year. I've got a big birthday coming up in May, and I just want to be
21.
the best me. Yeah,
Suck
a
up.
bit older, and just do things for myself more. Like
Yeah.
look back in the year and go, right, okay, so I spend more time in my own now, and just I'm enjoying my own company. Just things like getting up half an hour earlier in the morning, watching the news, just being more about me, just being the best me, the best I can be.
Yeah.
Big birthday coming up, all of that, just eating better, looking after myself. I always remember seeing an article, and I think it was in one of the Sunday supplements. It was about, women are very much about, if you had a friend staying, you'd make sure you had lovely food in the fridge, nice wine, you'd have candles lit, everything would be there, the bed would be changed, it would all be amazing. Do it for yourself.
So true.
Be the best, do it for yourself. Have all these
love that
nice
bit of
things.
advice.
Go in, light the candles, and I've started doing it, and I
Yeah.
really enjoy it. And
Yeah.
I'm just making my space like nice for me.
Yeah.
So I want to look back in December of 2020 and go, yeah, I did all these things I said I was going to do, and I feel better about it.
Yeah,
I feel
absolutely.
good.
Yeah.
I feel I've got loads of energy, and I've had my big birthday and it's worked, and I've actually achieved a lot around that, and it's
I love that.
good.
Act as though you're
Yeah,
entertaining
yeah,
yourself. I actually buy
yeah.
myself
That's lovely.
flowers quite
So
regularly.
I do.
Yeah.
I always
I've actually
have
had flowers
such a-
delivered.
Yeah.
When
With a
That's
fake
it.
card.
if I'm, at a time when I wasn't actually feeling great, and I just said to myself, do you know what? I'm just gonna phone the florist and order myself a bunch of flowers.
Did you act surprised when they arrived? Gerard Butler again?
Absolutely.
Just to add in a lower cost option, because not everybody can do that. I actually started walking around the forest and collecting my own flowers at one point
No,
last year.
I like
But then you get the benefit of
all that too.
you get
Yeah.
a forest
I
walk and a
love
bunch
that.
of flowers.
It's if you get caught cutting flowers, I don't you're meant to.
Oh, and no, there's no trespass.
Really?
Yeah, no, you're fine.
Okay.
But I wouldn't do it in the botanics.
Princess
That's
Street
probably a
Garden.
no. Yeah, but that's a no.
The floral clock.
I think we're going for wild areas.
Oh, yeah.
I love that bit of advice. That's amazing.
Have you got anything on your bucket list?
What, sorry?
You got anything on your bucket list?
No,
For your big
nothing.
birthday?
No, not really.
No
No,
pressure.
skydiving? Let's club
No.
together. Hello.
Jesus, no.
No, I don't have. Just to kind of enjoy it.
Enjoy it. Enjoy the journey.
Yeah, yeah.
Life's not a destination.
It is so.
So weird you said that because that's part of mine.
Sorry, I have to stole your bit. Okay,
Go
Oh God.
that's fine.
Go on then,
You
Noni.
want mine? Okay, so unlike most people, when I set resolutions, I make every single one. I hit every single one. Always have done.
Overachiever.
Yeah.
No, actually, we had this conversation earlier today. It's impacting negatively on other aspects of my life. So I'm so goal orientated that two things happen. One, I very rarely live in the moment, and or I do, but I'm unable to then kind of take a snapshot of it because I'm always on the next big thing. So even something simple like my child smiling, I experience it, I enjoy it, but then my head's already gone to the next thing I have to do.
Yeah.
I have to do the dishes, I have to do this, I have to do that.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, and I do it so much. So my thing for me this year is actually to completely reverse that. So I don't have any goals for this year other than I have to experience something every single day that I take a snapshot of and I remember. And the way that I'm doing that is I'm writing it down, and then at the end of the year I'm going to write my story, which is an example of the basic experiences of life. So, you know, yesterday my eldest son got his registration to vote, which is terrifying me.
How grown up?
Yeah, but it was the maniacal laugh that he made, then shrieked freedom and screamed about how he was going to vote for Scottish independence. That was my moment for the whole of yesterday. So that's in my little thing. That was the thing that I took a snapshot of, and I've got a picture of it in my head. And I've written the things so that at the end of the year I can recall every single one. Or like my son the other day telling me about his, he was building an NBA star on his Xbox. Now that's so, you know, mundane in some ways, but just the excitement on his face to be, he's a 3-point shooter and all this kind of stuff. And so it's things like that. So that's mine, is actually to remove myself because I'm so goal orientated. It actually is a problem for project management, all sorts of stuff, because I'm so about I know I'll achieve it, so that I'm not very realistic about what it takes to achieve it, and I burn out a lot.
So I suppose what that is, that will be a mindful journal rather
Very
than
much so.
rather than a gratitude journal, or a bit of both.
But you know what the great thing is? It's still a goal.
Yes.
So it plays into my need to create a goal.
that's true.
So daily I have to exist in the moment because that's my goal.
You know, this big storybook.
Yeah, it's going to be a big story.
I started one of those when Ravan was born, and I actually found it the other day. I gave up when he was like 6 months, and I realised that I have no life. But it was like a full book that I found, and I was like, this is amazing. Like, you know, this is when his first tooth came
I've got
through,
those,
and you know, he tried to brush his teeth, and he tried to do this, and he tried to do that, and he didn't apparently like potatoes mixed with cauliflower, and Mummy also didn't like potatoes mixed with cauliflower because of the end result, and it was like little things like that, and it was really nice to read.
I've got the same sort of thing, books, and then it comes with a little pot, and I've got the first grains of sand they ever picked up, the first leaves they ever touched. So like when Zach was in his buggy and grabbed a leaf, that leaf is in the book. I've got footprints of them at every age. But again, my second child, I feel so bad for him because I did this quite a lot with the first one. The second one came along, I was in hospital, there was lots of other problems, and his is only about 6 pages long at this point. So you kind of, and I've got various other things for him, like calendars where I wrote stuff on and things. So his is more of a pile of things.
That's really sweet.
You done that for Charlie, Sarah?
No. I think I might actually. I'm inspired.
Yeah.
Do you know what you should do?
I'll just start when he's 2.
The other thing I'm doing this year, which coincides with my whole need to do lots of kind of crafty things, I've had a box of the boys' clothes for years that I always had the intention of making a giant wall quilt out of. So that's being done this year as well.
That's good.
And that's about mindfulness and being in the moment because
Yeah.
it's stitching a little piece every day.
I made like a big, I got Ravan's scans and his bands and his blankets and some
I've got
clothes,
that,
and
yeah.
I did that all in a big, like one of those thick frames, what they call deep frames.
Oh,
You know, things I mean.
yeah.
So that's, and I did his footprints on glass, and I did lots of that type of thing.
Love it.
Yeah, I've
I
kind of
feel
stopped.
really like un-nostalgic now, really unsentimental. I just bin that stuff.
Yeah,
I bet you keep a lot of your dog's collars and things.
We do have all of our colours.
Wait till she has
Same
puppies.
thing.
You'll be
Like,
fine.
big.
Same thing.
You can start it for the puppies.
You wait till she has puppies. We'll be doing one of these with just a table full of dogs. Little babby dogs.
Scrabble.
It'll be
I
so
reckon I
good.
could fit one in the Smart PA bag to
Absolutely.
take
You
home.
could fit like 4 in there. She was tiny when she was a little bubby.
So what's your message to yourself?
Mine is like a little bit of a mixture of like actual things and then just a feeling. So I have just sold my flat, so we're actually living with my in-laws at the moment, which is great. They've been so generous, but obviously my fiance and I are looking to get our own space. So there's going to be a big thing of kind of finding the forever home. I also want to have found my wedding dress this year, because obviously I went shopping for my wedding dress the other day, which was bloody lovely. And then I also just want to feel, it's kind of a similar one to Pat's. I want to feel like I've made the most of this year and really taken care of myself, because it's been a very, we've barely got through a quarter of 2020, and I feel like Christmas was 4 years ago. I can't even remember my holiday at the beginning of January. I feel like so much has gone on, and I am someone kind of similar who's very much just always looking for the next thing, always trying to get something done, very bad at dealing with stress. So I want to take a bit of time to make sure that I've cared for myself this year. Because it's like you say, there's often this perception of self-care that is really selfish, or you could be doing housework, or you could be seeing that friend that you keep putting off, and that's really selfish, and but you need that kind of, it's self-preservation, because otherwise you do just burn out and everything gets too much, and you can only juggle so many balls for so long before you drop them all.
And the thing is if you don't look after yourself, it's the old the oxygen mask analogy. If you don't take care of yourself first, you can't take care of anyone else. You can't be the best version of yourself as a mother, or as a partner, or a fiance, or a colleague, or a friend, or a brother, or a sister. You have to look after yourself. It's so important.
Yeah, for sure.
And invest in yourself in time, and and making sure you've got the right energy levels to do what you need to do and to make the biggest impact.
For sure. So those are all our little messages. I think they're all perfectly achievable, but obviously there always does need to be a bit of a plan of action. So is there anything specifically that you think you will do to really like tweak to help make sure that you do check in?
So 2 things. First and foremost, the 4 energies that I keep banging on about, I'm going to have them printed on my office wall.
Nice, like that.
And they're drawn on the inside on a bit of paper on the inside of my wardrobe. So just that constant reminder just to check in. Where am I at? Here, and here. And then obviously I need to own it and make the adjustment if I'm out of alignment. And the second thing is which actually started last year on and off, is my gratitude journal.
Lovely. I hope we're all in there.
And what's so lovely about it is the actual journal is only 3 things a day, so it's not exhaustive. But the key is to make sure I commit to it and do it every single day, because it makes me feel so much better. And when you feel better, you're more positive, and obviously that supports one of our values here at Smart PA. So that just those 2 little things, I'm hoping will get me through.
And they're manageable as well, aren't they?
Yeah, they're easy. Yeah, absolutely.
Now, Noni, a little birdie told me that you're now going to the gym 5 times a week, which makes me both impressed and slightly frightened.
I'm also doing dance exercise at home, like a figure 8 thing. I don't know, not advertising, but that's So
there are other exercise videos available. But like that must really help you get rid of any of that kind of stress and external noise, right? To help you keep focused and mindful.
100%. Thing is, I'm actually exceptionally good at managing stress in one sense, but in other senses not so much. It's the expulsion of it. So, but this gym thing actually ties in the whole thing of my message to myself for end of 2020. So apart from the fact that I've bought new stationery to record all my thoughts, because I'm a stationery freak.
You need new stationery for new thoughts.
The other thing I've done is that any goal I want to achieve has to meet certain criteria before I'm allowed to do it. So the gym thing's an interesting one, because one of my criteria for putting a goal in place is that it has to involve some satisfaction or benefit to my children. Now that could be indirectly by me being happier. So buying flowers for myself doesn't really impact positively upon my children, other than it makes me smile. So that's
they might like flowers too.
Well, they do, but they're not overly bothered. But you get my point. But the gym thing hits all the criteria because my youngest son is going with me.
Lovely.
So it's
Yeah,
our
it's
time
good.
together.
Bit of mummy sun time as
Absolutely,
well.
and as the youngest one, he had less of that when he was younger, so it's like it's the flip now. My eldest child is now completely disregarding that I exist, so it leaves a lot of time for
He's
me.
over you.
He's just over me. He's already talking about moving out after, you know, a year ago he was telling me he was going to live at home until he was 50, and within a year it's like, when can I leave? I want to go to Tokyo. So it's really now the opportunity for my youngest and I to have that time, and he has a whole heap of reasons why he wants to get fit and healthy. So this is me utilising, and in the criteria it has to be something that focuses on children's benefit, but it also has to be something that plays to my strengths, and my strengths are doing things for other people, not myself. So the fitness thing with me, I've always wanted to get fitter, I want to run again, I want to do all of that, so it's absolutely achieving all that, but not with that focus. The focus is I'm doing it for my son, and that's why it's going to work.
Yeah.
That's
lovely.
Yeah,
Really
it's
nice.
lovely.
Wow.
Now, Pat, obviously it is your 21st birthday this year. Dare we ask what the plans are for you to celebrate?
I was going to have a huge party, and then I decided to pull that back. So I'm doing about 5 parties instead. With different friends. 5 different groups.
Wow.
So that's good. So I'm looking forward to that.
That'll be fab.
Yeah.
Obviously, Missy Elliott's coming to one.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a control freak with things like that. So having a party, I would feel that I'd have to take control of it and do it myself. So I'm not the kind of person that can say, right, throw a party for me. So I thought, this is going to be too much work.
Yeah.
What happens if a surprise party?
I don't like that at all.
That was like
Sorry.
down.
Sorry.
Don't do surprise
Sorry, I
parties.
mentioned it, dear Lord.
I don't like it.
Why not?
I just
I
don't.
love a
like-
surprise
Oh, I
party.
don't like, I'm with Pat on
I
that
don't
one.
like
Pat had one a
surprises.
few years
Yeah,
ago, didn't you?
I
And
really
you were
was
not a
like,
happy
nah.
chappy.
What happened?
Really?
Or just Alan organised a surprise party. It wasn't a special birthday, and we were a member of the One Spa at the time, and I wanted to go to the One Spa and chill out, and he was like, no, we're going to Maze, that's my sister, and I was like, no, I don't really want to do that. It's my birthday. I love my sister, and then we ended up going to Maze, and then there was loads of friends and stuff there, but I wasn't dressed.
Exactly.
Which I wasn't really
yeah,
bothered
that's
about.
what it boils
I
down
wasn't
to.
The
overly
mindset
bothered
as well.
about that.
If you were thinking you were going to
Yeah.
have a night, you're going to relax in
Go to
jacuzzi.
spa, so I was a bit of a brat, to be honest, and did have a face on, but my friends kind of were like, oh well.
I've
No.
never actually had a
And
surprise
then
party,
it was
so I
nice,
don't
and
know.
then I did enjoy it.
I've
but
had
it's
one,
not my
I
thing.
loved it.
I love
Did
a
you?
surprise.
I absolutely loved
Did
it.
I like
yeah.
it?
Yeah, I cried. I loved it.
Did
you? I genuinely cried. Yeah, it was
What was
complete
it
surprise.
for?
Was it for my 21st birthday? But it was when I came home, so it was slightly after my birthday. That was part of the surprise because I wasn't actually
you
at
weren't
home. I was
expecting
in
birthday mode.
Germany for my 21st birthday.
Uh-huh.
So I came home, and it was like a couple of days after I'd come home, so I hadn't seen everyone for like 6
that's
months or
nice.
so. And it was such a I cried. I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
That is so
Oh, that's
lovely.
lovely.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Do you know what though? I'm kind of with you on that, because when Mark proposed to me, he told me he was taking me away somewhere, but he was like, it's nowhere smart. He was like, it's really cash, like, we're not going to be going out for dinner or anything. He was like, so I literally had like activewear and a pair of jeans, and then he proposed, and we were staying in this gorgeous place, which is where we're actually getting married, and they've got like a really fabulous dining area, and it was like obviously the night we got engaged, so I really wanted to be dressed up, and I literally had like trainers and jeans on, and I was like, I hate you, you have ruined this moment.
So there were no selfies, glamorous selfies for you.
There was like a headshot because I had some makeup with me, but that was it. There was no full body shots at
just
all.
like this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just this bit. I was very
Funny.
grumpy
I think the
with him.
theme there is that we like surprises if we're dressed
we
to
know
party.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's the makeup ready thing. That
Yeah.
might be why my older
What you
friends
actually
prefer them less and less.
really want is somebody to organise a huge surprise party, and then somebody to whisper in your ear, by the way, there's a surprise
Act
party.
surprise.
Get
That's
dressed
true.
up.
Get the glam squad in.
I look like this every day. I just get out of
Why is
bed.
it? I'm party ready most days.
And then Jen, finally, obviously, you've got fairly big plans, but I heard that you have started playing netball again, which brings back all kind of nostalgia feels for me. I feel like back at school. That must be a weird thing to go back to something that you obviously did as a kid.
Yeah, I hadn't played it since I was in primary school, and it's been taunting me for the last kind of 3 or 4 months of the year because it kept on coming up on my Facebook, and there was a few people that were like friends of friends that went, and the times work for me because it's kind of 8 till 9:30. So as soon as I get home from work, say around, it's on Wednesday, so I'm home a bit earlier, but say 7 o'clock, you know, bath, bed, and then I can kind of just go straight away. Yeah, so as soon as I come home from work, I change into my kit, do the bedtime routine, and then I just go, and then I come back, and then I can just chill from there. I've had to stop wearing, probably none of you have noticed, but I've stopped not wearing nude tights to work because literally I keep falling.
Oh
so
no, you probably
I honestly have panda knees. But yeah, it is helping me because it's, you know, an hour and a half. It is so intense. I don't know, maybe I was a lot fitter. I obviously was a lot fitter back there and I hadn't had a child, but yeah, that hour and a half, it's like 7 minutes seven minute games, and there's no subs, so you are just like constantly playing for an hour and a half, and you got your warm up and you warm down, and you're like purple by the end of it. But it is really good.
Tell me, how do you feel afterwards?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Like I am purple, but I am so and I sleep really well, and it's just great.
Do you feel you're getting fitter every week?
Yeah, I do. I genuinely do. And there's a different. There's the oldest woman is like 65, and the youngest person is like 15, 16.
Really inclusive.
So it's really inclusive, and it's just there's some very competitive people, and I'm not quite there yet, but I could see myself becoming more and more competitive.
You're like a shoot hoops at the weekend then, because I'm doing basketball with Seb.
I'm not shooting. I've not been shooting. Yeah, I used to always play centre, so Georgia said to me that, you know, she says you're short and speedy. I don't know if I like being called short or not, but
well, if you were Amazonian like this one, you wouldn't
you'd be a
centre, you'd be in the circle.
Yeah, that's true.
And we'll check back in December to see how we all get on.
Sounds like a plan.
Fabulous.
Thanks, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.